The world is eerily quiet. 2 years have passed since the outbreak of the Omega virus, a deadly pandemic that spreads not through touch but sound. Words, echoes, even the faintest murmur can carry the virus, forcing humanity into a life of silence. Lyra lives alone in a remote mountain cabin, surrounded by snow-covered trees and a deafening hush. Each day blends into the next, marked only by the sun's rise and fall. She spends her mornings collecting firewood and her afternoons scribbling in her notebook, documenting memories of a world long gone. The evenings are the hardest, when the silence becomes suffocating, and she finds herself staring at the photographs of her family, their faces a painful reminder of what she's lost. She hasn't spoken in over 2 years, not even to herself, fearing the sound of her own voice could bring death. In this enforced quiet, her thoughts are her only companions, a double-edged sword that both keeps her sane and drives her closer to despair. She hasn't spoken in over 2 years, relying on her notebook and pen to keep her thoughts alive. One morning, Lyra ventures into a nearby ghost town to scavenge for supplies. The town, once bustling with life, is now a graveyard of abandoned cars, crumbling buildings, and faded signs warning of the virus. She moves cautiously, her breath visible in the cold air, curling upward like fragile wisps of smoke. The crunch of snow beneath her boots feels unnaturally loud in the oppressive silence, and her heart pounds in rhythm with each careful step. The town around her is a haunting tableau. Shattered windows gape like empty eyes, rusting cars sit frozen in place, and icicles dangle precariously from sagging rooftops. Lyra's mind races with thoughts of the past, of the laughter and life that once filled these streets. She forces herself to focus, gripping her knife tightly as she scans the shadows for any sign of danger. Every movement feels like a gamble, as though the very air is holding its breath, waiting for her to make a fatal mistake. Every step feels like a gamble. A single misstep could mean death. Inside a dusty bookstore, she finds a journal with a hand-drawn map tucked between its pages. Scribbled on the back are the words, "There's a safe haven beyond the silent forest. Trust no one, but don't lose hope." The words ignite a spark of determination in Lyra. She's tired of surviving. She wants to live. Clutching the map, she decides to leave her cabin and head toward the supposed safe haven. On her way out of the bookstore, she hears the faint crunch of footsteps. Her heart pounds as she hides behind a shelf, clutching her knife. A man appears, tall and rugged, with a weathered face and piercing blue eyes. He carries a backpack and gestures to her, indicating he's unarmed. Lyra doesn't trust him, but knows she can't survive the journey alone. They communicate through gestures and written notes. His name is Ethan, and he's heading in the same direction. Reluctantly, Lyra agrees to travel with him, though her instincts scream to stay wary. That night, as they camp in silence, Lyra meticulously sets up her small corner of the site, laying out her sleeping mat near the flickering embers of the fire. She takes in her surroundings, noting how Ethan seems to keep his belongings deliberately close to him, his posture tense even as he stares into the flames. The camp is sparse, but functional. Ethan's efficient setup includes a tarp strung between trees for cover, a compact cooking kit, and a lantern that casts long, dancing shadows on the snow-dusted ground. As Lyra leans back against her pack, her eyes catch a glint of metal from Ethan's bag. Curiosity gets the better of her, and under the pretense of adjusting her position, she peers closer. Her heart skips when she notices vials carefully packed alongside medical equipment. The items seem out of place for a simple survivor. Her mind races with questions. Is he a doctor? A scientist? Or is he hiding something far more sinister? The possibilities swirl in her thoughts, making sleep impossible. She decides to stay silent for now, observing him more closely in the days to come. Suspicion gnaws at her, but she decides to wait and observe.
Possibility Nexus.